Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all? Namaste. Okay, I kindly request you to please turn on your videos. It'll be good to see everyone's smiling face. I'll wait for some of you to please turn on the video. Thank you, Ella. Thank you, Usha. Thank you, Avni, for turning on the video. Thank you so much, Preeti. As we're talking about joy and happiness, so let's see some of the smiles on the faces. Okay. Am I audible clearly? Okay. So as I wait for everyone else to continue, I'm also requesting that let's make this as a little bit more interactive session while I'll be telling the tale, but let's make it a little more interactive. Yeah. So you can show me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Works for everyone. Okay. Okay, so let's begin. As she was mentioning, right, that today we get so many, you know how much common the word anxiety and depression has become. So as a yoga practitioner and as a teacher, I get a lot of inquiry calls every day. And the nature of this call has changed in past, let's say about 5 to 6 years. So before, when I used to get so many inquiries about people wanting to learn yoga, mostly it was about losing weight. How do I lose weight? How do I lose inches? How do I become more flexible? And rarely it would be 5 to 10% about depression or anxiety. But tables have turned surely. So now every third or fourth call that I get about this inquiry is about the stress and anxiety, which seems to be our, constant companion nowadays. But it is in this chaos, we often find ourselves yearning for a deeper sense of peace and contentment, don't we? So there's so many of us who have left our corporate world and everything, and then joining this practice of yoga. I'm getting some messages, not being able to turn on the video. Okay. It would be great if I can see some smiling faces and then we can interact a little bit, because we'll try to do some interaction in between of the story. Okay, so as we treat this path to happiness today, so to say happiness, I would rather like to call it as a joy instead of happiness. So let us remember this happiness that we are pursuing. It's not some destination that we are trying to reach, but in fact, it's an underlying essence of our presence. So allow me to narrate a story now from Taittiriya Upanishads. This is also known as the lore of Bhriguvalli and Lord Varuna, to explain this essence to you. Okay, let's begin with this tale. So this tale revolves around, has anyone heard the tale of Bhriguvalli and Lord Varuna from Taittiriya Upanishad? Anyone? Those who have turned?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
That's great, Arvind.
It is a nice story about Panchkosha.
Yes. So if you know the answers already, then let everyone else explore about this one. It can be very helpful, but it's great that people are aware of this tale that is there. Some of you know Lord Varuna? Do you know Lord Varuna? Okay. We'll not go in details of that. So Bhrigu, there's Bhriguvalli in the story, who is the son of Lord Varuna. He's he's a king in a kingdom, and he's also a very great guru to many other people, and also to his son Bhriguvalli. Now Bhrigu is in spiritual quest to understand the ultimate reality. He is looking for the answers to what is ultimate reality. So he approaches his father, and who's also his guru, and expresses this earnest desire. What does he say to his guru? He says, teach me Brahman. Okay, help me know the ultimate reality. So, what does Lord Varuna answer to that? He replies, Tapasa Brahma Vijnasasva. What does that mean? No Brahman through tapas. He did not go into any kind of descriptions or narrations or quotations or citations from any scriptures or anything. He just told this one sentence to him. He just instructed one thing, that go Know it by yourself through your own tapasya. Okay, because the ultimate reality can never be shared as a knowledge. Yeah, it can only be realized as direct experience. So this is what he says. And as Bhrigu goes for his tapasya, Lord Varuna asks him to contemplate on this one entity, just one thing. He asks him to contemplate on this one thing out of which everything is born. Yeah, one thing which is very important for our survival. Okay, so following the father's teaching, Bhrigu embarked on his spiritual journey. So he goes to the forest and he sits in meditation for a long, long time. Now we understand that this Bhriguvalli is a prince of a very big kingdom, and he goes out in the jungles and he has to understand that what is this ultimate reality? What is this one important thing, which is the most important thing for human being without which we cannot survive? So can anyone think an answer that what it can be? Let's just anything, whatever you think. Think it will maybe right, wrong answer only. How does that matter? I see breath. Those of you who are not turning on video, you feel conscious, maybe you can write in the messages. I'll read out. Oh, I see 3 answers as breath. Okay. Yeah, breathing is very important. I think this is also coming because of we are already in this community of yoga practice, right? But so if I talk about Bhriguvalli was still coming out of kingdom, right? And there was no knowledge which was already given to him. So what he realizes at that time that it was not the first thing that he realizes was not breath, but was food, annamaya kosha. Okay, so what he says, according to him, he says the intense tapas that Bhrigu ended into this realization that he began to feel that all this physical body is this ultimate truth. He says that if your physical body is working fine, anything and everything is possible. He thinks that I cannot survive without food and water. But so see, as I said, right, he's a prince. He left his kingdom and everything and he goes to the jungle. Few days he was not able to manage food, and then he starts feeling what? Food is the most important thing. So that comes the first kosha, Annamaya kosha, that he realized. But somehow he was not very satisfied with his own answer. He is like, it is important, but it cannot be the ultimate reality. So he goes back to his guru. He says that, please, this is the answer that I've come to, but this is not what I'm satisfied with. So what does he tells his guru? Teach me Brahman. What does guru replies? He says, know Brahman through tapas. Again, the same thing. So what happens after that? He goes back again to the forest in search of the answer. So now again, he goes to the intense meditation. This time he realized something different. And this time it is most of your answers that you gave, that is breath. So pranamaya kosha. Now he realized that he says to his father that what can I do with this physical body? I need life into this body. Flow of prana in this body or anywhere else is very, very important. So what he realized that few days it's okay. Now maybe he started doing fasting, food fasting, water fasting. So what he says that I can live without food and water and everything for few days, but I cannot live without prana even for a few hours. That time few hours, I think nowadays the maximum holding the breath is 32, 36 minutes or something. So he says he realizes that energy it is. There is energy present within all material substances. He realizes that universe is, force or energy rather than just being a thing. So he thinks pranamaya kosha it is that I come to an answer, but this is, again, he was not satisfied with the answer. The disciple again approaches the guru once again and he goes with the same request. Guruji, please teach me Brahman. What does the guru reply? Tapas Brahma Vijnasva. No Brahman through tapas. So the obedience to the guru's instruction was very important at that point of time. So he went back again for further contemplation, even more intense tapas this time. Now, third time when he goes. So this is the question. This is something that he realized, but I'll come to the realization a little later. So what is it that still goes on even if you hold your breath? What is it? That we can live without food and water for a few days. Okay, so we are holding breath. Let's say we are holding the breath. What is it that still goes on without the breath?
The mind.
The mind. Yes. See, this is all yoga community that we have learned through all of these things. Thoughts, mind. It is very easy when we already have this information. But if we were to embark on this journey, it gets very difficult when you're finding the answers by yourself, right? So this is the third kosha that he comes to. The third kosha is what? Manomaya kosha. So what he answers? He says that I can stay without food for days and without prana for at least few minutes, but the manas is always present. He realized that the energy is not the ultimate thing. There is mind behind all of this matter and all of this prana. So he comes to the conclusion of Manomaya Kosha. But once more, the disciple is not convinced with his own answer, and they have the same conversation. He goes back to him. He says, teach me Brahman. The Guru replies, what? Same answer. What does he reply? No Brahman through your tapas. So once again, he leaves for his tapas and returns with an understanding, this time above the thinking process. What is that? What can that be? If you all know Panchakosha, I'm sure you know what is the answer. But just think that how can we reach to this conclusion that we are talking about? If not, so imagine we have paused food and water for some days. Okay? Then we paused breath for some time. Third, if we are able to focus on one point, what comes out of that? Now that was moving, food and water, we pause, it's very important. Then it's breath, we are pausing that also. We're not pausing breath, but we are able to focus on one particular thing. No? Then what arises? The beneath that layer, what comes? Anyone? Intellect. Yeah. Has anyone of you, everyone, most of you are meditating? Anyone who has experienced, to loosely put as eureka moments? When we are meditating, we realize some things. Focusing on one particular thing, and then we realize, even if we are not particularly meditating, but then there are these moments when we start realizing something no one has explained, or maybe there are some things that we have always heard, but then it's a very different thing when you realize it, when you experience it, when you learn it through your experiences. Yes, this knowledge is always there within us. It just comes as clarity out when you're meditating, when you're doing your tapasya, when you're sitting and meditating, right? So the beneath, one more layer beneath he comes, and what he experiences is that the running mind that is there, but beneath that, even if you're able to quieten that mind, silence that mind, little below comes knowledge, which each one of us has. So you may also know that the intellect layer, the Annamaya Kosha is there in animals also, correct? They also need food and water. The Pranamaya Kosha is also there in animals. Manomaya Kosha is also there in animals. What differentiates between us, human beings, and animals is this fourth layer, that is Vijnanamaya Kosha. Understanding? This knowledge is something that human beings have, which differentiates us. So what this knowledge is, what this intellect is, it is what? Discriminative understanding, the knowledge of right and wrong, to be able to choose, to be able to discriminate between right and wrong. Animals cannot discriminate what is right, what is wrong, good or bad. Human beings can. Yeah, we just have to use that. But this is the different. This is the Vijnanamaya Kosha. So what does he comes to? Discriminative understanding is higher in mere human mental act, is above that mere human mental activities, the constant thought that is there. So beneath this layer of this Manomaya Kosha, you are able to control the mind for some time. There arises the knowledge of this. So again, the same thing happens. The ultimate truth is in me. I must be aware of the right and wrong. I must have that knowledge. So he thinks that Vijnanamaya Kosha it is. Now, but this time also, disciple is dissatisfied with his conclusion. He thinks that it is not material substance. It is not the energy or force. It is not, does not seem to be only Manomaya Kosha, merely thinking. It is not even knowledge according to him. Why would he think so? He thinks that because intellect has its own limitations. So normally, if what happens, most of the philosophers, most of the writers, pundits, gurus, they think that this is it. The knowledge is everything. Yeah, knowledge, intellect is everything. They don't go beyond this point of understanding. That is where the studies of Bhriguvalli is little different. No human being has gone beyond that level. Pure understanding is the ultimate. Pure understanding of the things, of knowledge, is the ultimate reach where philosophers have reached. Now, why he stopped? He thought that if the professors and pundits have the knowledge, then why are they not happy? Why they have their own limitations and why they are in this agonizing sorrow? If they have realized the ultimate truth, then why are they not very happy? Yes. So he thinks that the knowledge is very limited. It has its own limitations, important, but has its own limitations. So, not happy and not satisfied with this answer, Bhrigu goes back to Lord Varuna. What does he say to Varuna? What does he say to Varuna?
How to find Brahman?
Yes, teach me, Brahman. What does Lord Varuna says?
Tapas.
Find Brahman through tapas. Yes. Again, he goes back. So this time he realizes what? What did he realize? Anando Brahmate Vijnat means he realizes that bliss, happiness, joy is Brahman. Now, allow me to explain that how. So after this, first of all, the disciple does not goes back to Guru at all. Okay, once he realizes that, he does not goes back to Guru. When he did not return, then Lord Varuna knew that his son, his disciple, has realized the ultimate truth, that is Anandamaya Kosha. In this state of self-realization, Bhrigu experienced the unity of all existence, realizing that the true nature of Brahman is beyond this names, forms, limitations. It is pure consciousness. So let me just connect this little bit to Buddhism philosophy. Anyone who is aware of Buddhism philosophy? Little bit? Thumbs up, thumbs down. So what does it say in one of the meditations that I was following that Lord Buddha has to say? I'm just trying to put it in a very layman's term. Please correct me if I'm saying anything wrong. Okay, so what does it say? That all the actions, whatever actions that we do as human beings, okay, we do as human beings, please focus on each and every word. We do it thinking and expecting that either that action will lead us to the path of happiness or take us away from suffering. I'll repeat myself. All actions, whatever actions, even now when I am talking, you're listening, you're attending, you're eating, you're doing anything, whatever action it is, we think not necessarily that it will lead to happiness. It does not necessarily lead to happiness. But human beings do all the actions thinking that it will either give us happiness or take us away from suffering. All actions. That's the beneath one layer below, a sub layer of everything. Okay, what does it say? about human beings, for us, for the consciousness, it says that we all desire happiness. We all look out for joy. We all look out for peace. Correct? And that is what he realizes. The first thing is that all of us are united by this ultimate truth that we all are seeking joy. Isn't it? Isn't it true? Aren't we all? Now, I repeat again. See, some of us will say that I'm doing a particular thing, I'm eating a particular thing, and that's giving me happiness. So that's what I mentioned, that we think that it will give us happiness. Not necessarily it is giving us happiness, but what it explains about human beings, nature of human beings, that we all are seeking joy. Isn't it? All actions beneath that. Let's take away the joy, entire happiness from one's life. Can anybody live? No happiness in Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, nothing. Nothing will matter if the sub layer of it is not joy. Correct? So we all seek for it. Now, the path that we take, suppose in a lot of corporate sessions that they say that they binge eat, binge watch, binge whatever nowadays that we're doing, yeah, or anything, binge reading, or just any action that we are doing, that gives them happiness, that they think that it's giving them happiness. That's not the true happiness. But whatever it is, we are still seeking for joy. So Ananda, now what else does this tells us about this joy? Okay. So Ananda, bliss, this joy state, resides everywhere in all our actions. Now, why I'm explaining you this thing? So Bhriguvalli's story teaches us some very significant points to understand. Okay. First, inner exploration and self-realization in our spiritual journey. So it's very easy if all what I'm sharing is sharing information, sharing knowledge. It's not our experience, right? It's not coming through us. We have not experienced that thing. So it's very important that we experience that. For our doing our own tapas is very important. Our tapasya would be our meditation. So when we do into that, that helps us, allows us to go inside us in the self-realization, not outside, but the answer comes when we are going deeper, right? This is physical body, Annamaya Kosha. Breathing goes inside, Pranamaya Kosha. Little more deeper we go, Manomaya Kosha. Beneath the layer of Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanmaya Kosha. But he says what? Joy is beneath all of the layers, Anandamaya Kosha. So this helps us to go deeper in the right direction. And then second thing, it also highlights the importance of our own direct experience. And it also explains that through this story, we understand that the eternal truth that he was looking for, the Brahman, ultimate reality, whatever we call, or supreme reality, what he figured out is joy and bliss and Ananda, or whatever we call that, the name does not matter, is not separate from us. So we cannot look out for happiness through any senses, through anything. The answer resides within us. It dwells within us as the truest nature, right? So that ultimate reality stays in us. It's just that we'll have to take the path inwards and not outwards. Yeah. So I will try to share my experience of just a small, short experience. In my personal experience, I'll share that what helps me to go closer to the joy. Right. So I discovered that this journey of joy within has, for me, it has always started from gratitude. Okay. No matter what the situation we are in, if we try to detach ourselves from it, watch it from a distance, we'll always be able to see the good and bad and always be able to appreciate the good in that is where the real joy will start. So And many people I have heard that they say that it's very, very difficult to start this gratitude, and like this small thing, how can it give us joy? Like, how can the small things give us? So many people say that this is very emotional thing. This is very uh, something which I don't think it will benefit us. So just explaining it through this, that, we all have emotions. Yeah. So if you are able to be angry, if you're able to be frustrated, that's also an emotion. So if you're able to experience that emotion, it's in our hands to change the course of that emotion. It's in our hands to detach and nurture the quality of the compassion, love, kindness. And once we start developing these and we start taking these as conscious choices, then bliss is not separate from us. It stays as a true nature. It takes us closer and closer to our true nature. So I would like to open up the platform to everyone to share your journey, that what are those moments that you think that this is where it brings us closer to the joy, it brings us closer to our true self. Anyone who would like to share a message? Anyone? I've also anyone who has experienced this ultimate joy and bliss in music, in the form of music, in the form of dance, in the form of art.
For me, when I finish my home chanting,
Mm-hmm.
like for 5-10 minutes, I practice home chanting, and after that, I feel much more joyful.
Much more peaceful. Yes.
I know that I come to the realization state for sure, and after that, the silence becomes very natural.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is the thing for me.
Art. Amazing. Yes. Uh, okay. I will just read. Radha says it's Komal, Rangoli. Very nice. Any form of art, I think, is also very meditative in nature.
For me, that mandala arts,
Beautiful.
that is very
Hi,
joyful for
Ananya.
me. Hi.
How are you?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay.
Yes, I was telling that that mandala art form that gives me when I start to finishing that up,
Yeah,
that gives me
sure.
really an amazing
Yes.
feeling. Even
Yes.
I was doing a piece like tomorrow for some days.
Oh,
This is like
beautiful.
this. So that start to end, after finishing that up, that gives me a real joy, I think.
Beautiful.
And the second thing, that I love to spend my time with the orphan childs and the old age homes.
Mhm.
So whenever I go there and spend my time, that also gives me a real peace. I really can feel something.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Such beautiful experience. Anyone who would like to share? When we share all these things, it definitely helps others also either to explore that part or it inspires them to take up to that thing. So don't hesitate of sharing your stories. You never know that in your stories, you may be helping someone. So please help by sharing your own story. And you feel relieved. You feel so nice and light once you share your story. So you feel very, very elevated when you share it with others. And I'm so very proud that we have this yoga community where we share all of these things, and we have this yoga day which is started so we can share all of these things. Otherwise, it was never there. The practice of Sangha is very important. It is where, the right people whom you're surrounded with takes you to a very beautiful path. If it's wrong people whom you're surrounded with, then the path will also be like that. So the Sangha plays a very, very important role in that. I will take a moment to read what everyone is writing. So he shares my own work. Doing scans is extremely meditative sometimes. Yeah. If we really love our work and we are completely involved and indulged into it, that is so meditative in nature, and that leads us to more peace and more joy. Any sort of repetitive art form like mandala, crotching, embroidery, paper cutting, etc. Beautiful. Especially journaling before yoga practice. Nice. Yes. Anyone who feels this joy while doing asana practice, yoga practice, yoga asana, pranayama and meditation, definitely it leads us to that. Great, Zaina. Arvind, your voice is not audible.
हेलो.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
ओके. हाँ, मैं हिंदी में बात करूंगा.
जी बिल्कुल.
ओके. तो आपने बहुत स्टोरी अच्छा किया. तो वैसे ही मैंने तैत्तिरीय उपनिषद में थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ा है. तो ये पंचकोशा थियरी में जैसे पेशेंट को जब ट्रीटमेंट करते हैं तो पंचकोशा थियरी बहुत हेल्प करता है.
अच्छा, थोड़ा शेयर कर सकते हैं उसके ऊपर.
हाँ, जैसे किसी पेशेंट को एक कॉग्निटिव फंक्शन में प्रॉब्लम होता है, यानी कि मानसिक स्तर पे प्रॉब्लम होता है, तो प्राणायाम करवाते हैं, थोड़ा मेडिटेशन वगैरह करवाते हैं. तो जैसे मेरा अभी लास्ट रिसर्च था कॉलेज के स्टूडेंट में पंचकोशा थियरी कैसे वर्क करता है. तो उसमें 50 स्टूडेंट को एक महीना तक पंचकोश थियरी मॉड्यूल पे मैंने काम किया था. तो इट्स वेरी हेल्पफुल.
ओके.
आपने जो मुझे भी जब मैं मुझे प्राणायाम अच्छा लगता है, तो प्राणायाम करता हूँ तो थोड़ा एकदम बैलेंस माइंड थोड़ा लगता है, शांति लगता है. आनंद तो क्या है पता नहीं, पर थोड़ा ठीक लगता है.
जी.
थैंक यू.
जी बहुत शुक्रिया. Thank you. For me, it's been through mantra chanting and bhakti. It's a very beautiful part, bhakti, that you have mentioned, Krishnaveni. Thank you for sharing that. I completely missed that part. So there was this, you know how I don't know how many of you practice Bhakti Yoga. So there was this one of my teachers who changed my entire perspective of Bhakti Yoga, which really leads me to the joy state. So there were many people who were not interested in the Bhakti Yoga. So she asked everyone that, everyone watches movies, and they all said, like most of them said yes. So, when we go to the theaters, not now, when we used to go to the theaters before, the national anthem plays and we all stand up, and then there are so many patriotic movies which gives us goosebumps immediately. So many people cry in that movie. So that is Desh Bhakti, right? That's bhakti for your country. And then I always pondered on this question that, nothing I love, and I'm very proud of my country, but I'm very proud of the entire universe also, that the entire creation, if we can be so proud of our own country, how much more proud we should be of the whole world, or the whole solar system, or the whole universe, and the creator of that, right? So the bhakti is nothing but that we are just singing songs for that creator. So I'm already having tears thinking of that experience that I had, that we're just sitting in between. There is a particular place where all these kids, they do bhakti yoga every day. I'm still getting goosebumps thinking of that. So in between sitting of the kids when they're joyously singing the songs just for the universe, nothing else, just for the joy of that creation, nothing else. It would just give it a try sometimes. You can sit in these sessions, which are very pure. It's not religious, just more spiritual, and try to go for that. It will definitely help you to, maybe some of you would experience more bliss over there. So you can explore these different forms, then exploring and trying so many other things. Okay.